School, CableNet presents the 10th Annual Illinois High School Association Girls State Gymnastics Finals. And how you doing, everybody? I'm Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk here at Palatine High School. The state finals this evening brought to you by ComDisco. Our thanks to ComDisco for supporting not only high school sports, but particularly tonight, girls high school gymnastics. And Jerry, all the talk this week really is centered around the Frem Vikings, the fact that they've been picked by many coaches to repeat as champions in girls gymnastics for 1986, and they haven't let anybody down. They set a record with a team score of over 147 points, I believe 147.95.
Right. They, without a doubt, were the class of the state meet. They still are. They have tremendous depth in all their events. And really, after the first event, there really wasn't anybody that was going to challenge them too greatly. They set a state record. They're probably going to improve upon that tonight with some better scores, and without a doubt, they were the class of the entire state meet.
All right, as you get a look at the crowd that's filing into the gymnasium here at Palatine High School, and it'll be an excellent crowd for the meet here this evening. They will get set to introduce the finalists from the schools along with their coaches, and the girls will be marching in momentarily. And you will be watching tonight the cream of the crop in the state of Illinois as far as high school girls gymnastics go.
Right, they went through section
7.95.
Right, they, without a doubt, were the class of the state meet. They still are. They have tremendous depth in all their events. And really, after the first event, there really wasn't anybody that was going to challenge them too greatly. They set a state record. They're probably going to improve upon that tonight with some better scores. And without a doubt, they were the class of the entire state meet.
All right, as you get a look at the crowd that's filing into the gymnasium here at Palatine High School, and it'll be an excellent crowd for the meet here this evening. They will get set to introduce the finalists from the schools along with their coaches, and the girls will be marching in momentarily. And you will be watching tonight the cream of the crop in the state of Illinois as far as high school girls gymnastics go.
Right, they went through regional, sectional, and preliminary competition, and the girls this evening are the 10 finalists in each event. That's Hersey High School walking in there. They were here as a complete team. Coach Don Von Evers at the end there. There's Resurrection. Resurrection is currently sitting in 3rd place, just 0.15 of a point ahead of Deerfield. Individuals from schools throughout the state, we have to say that predominantly the Chicago suburban area is the dominating force. That's Deerfield coming in right there. They're going to try to improve their scores with a couple girls in the individual finals.
And Jerry, one thing we should point out, and we were talking about this before our broadcast here tonight, but the team scores pretty much will stay the way they are, but if the girls do achieve a better score in a particular event, they can up the team total. So the final standings per se aren't really established yet. That's
correct. The final team standings are not absolute right now. If a girl qualifies from a team to the individual state finals that we'll see this evening, and they improve their score in the individual finals, that will then replace the score that they received in the preliminaries yesterday. However, if their score tonight is not as strong or as high as their preliminary score, it will be disregarded, and the score that they received yesterday will be counted. Therefore, your team score can only go up with an improvement in this evening's competition. There's Fremd High School. When they come in, everybody in the world can see them with those bright yellow warm-ups.
And host Palatine, the Pirates.
Yeah, Palatine was a contender all year long until you see a couple girls walking in on crutches. They had just a devastating 15 minutes at the sectional at Forest View a week ago where they lost two of their top performers, and that took them right out of contention for the state title.
Libertyville, all the
That's Missy Green and Cindy Rudolph. Kurt Austin there from Libertyville.
Right, Missy Green, of course, from Libertyville, the only girl, along with Michelle Hernandez, to qualify in all 4 events and the all-around.
That's right. They're very, very strong performers. Missy had an excellent opportunity to be the all-around champion last night, but she ran into that balance beam event and unfortunately fell twice, and that took her out of contention for the title, and she ended up in tied for 7th place. It's a full house tonight. It's going to be pretty noisy too, I assume. So these crowds really get into this final competition when the girls have really nothing at stake other than individual honors, and it should be a real exciting evening here.
Yeah, I was talking to Howard Rubin, the coach of Schaumburg, earlier tonight, and he said every year, no matter where you go, it's a full house, basically standing room only, and that's probably what we'll see tonight. We'll see all the bleachers full, and I think that's a tribute to all the girls.
Without a doubt, everybody turns out to see this meet. They know they've worked long and hard for it, and they'll be here clapping and yelling and supporting them every way that they can. Those are the judges for this evening.
The administrative staff, the Girls Gymnastics Advisory Committee, and the 110 Girls Gymnastics Schools, the IHSA, welcome to the championship session of the 10th Annual Girls State Final Gymnastics Meet. The 5 judges for this year's state final meet, the women were in charge of scoring all contestants.
Well, now the public address announcer introducing the judges here this evening. What you'll be watching tonight, the 10 finalists in each of the 4 events, the horse, the uneven bars, the floor exercise, and the balance beam. And, of course, with the exception of the all-around, which was won by Lisa Peterson of Stagg High School in Palos Hills, the individual champions have yet to be determined, and that's what we'll be keeping an eye on tonight.
Right, and I don't think that any event has a clear-cut favorite. I think it's really up in the air. There have been a couple very fine routines done. However, all the scores are going to start from scratch.
All right, you see the team standings up on your screen, and the record score by Friend High School, really just a powerful team. We'll get back to that, but here's our national anthem. Well, they file off the floor exercise mat here. Jerry, again, talking about front, they had 8 different gymnasts qualify for 17 spots, and really just a powerful, powerful team that Larry Petrillo has.
It's unbelievable, really, when you take a look at that team score and break that down to what each individual routine scored to get there. They average somewhere around a 9.2 per routine that counts, and that's unbelievable. Most teams are happy if they have one. They're doing that on every single event with at least 4 people.
All right, we'll be back to watch the opening of this 1985-86 Illinois High School Girls State Gymnastics Finals right after this.
This is my girl here.
All right, welcome back to Palatine High School. Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk. Jerry's the director of the Northbrook Gymnastics Training Center, and he will provide our color commentary tonight. So just to let you know that Jerry knows what he's talking about.
Well, I hope so. The first girl that we're going to see is one of the girls that's been training for the last year at my gym. That's Bonnie Higgins, who was fortunate enough to take second place in the all-around yesterday. Missed out winning that by only 0.05 of a point. And she's going to be the first performer for us in just a few seconds here. That's Coach Al Galati walking in front there. All these girls are very good friends. The girls from Frem and Palatine and all the schools out here in Arlington are very close. They know each other. And so I think we're about ready to get started with Bonnie's first vault.
All right, Bonnie Higgins from Rolling Meadows scored a 9.4 last night in the preliminaries.
She's going to be doing for her first vault the tuck Sukahara, which is a half turn onto the horse and a back 1 1/4 somersault off in a tuck position, which is with the knees bent up into the chest. Started out real nice. She had a nice run there. She has to be a little quicker off that horse to a stand-up position before she turns over. They have an opportunity to do 2 vaults in this competition. They take the best of the 2 vaults. This next one is going to be a pike Sukahara, the exact same trick that she just did, but instead of being in a tuck position, it'll be in a pike position, which is a bent body position but straight-legged.
Nice.
All right. Very nice vault there.
And she is pleased, no doubt, with her second vault.
That takes an awful lot of gumption to come back after landing on your hands and knees on that first vault and come back and nail a vault like that. A super job with that.
Jerry, with the competition so good that we're going to see tonight, what kind of scores you think are going to be needed in order to win an event?
Without a doubt, somewhere in the 9.5 range should be able to do it. We have had some preliminary vaults of yesterday that went higher than that, but if you're anywhere in that 9.5 range, you're going to be in serious contention for that state title.
All right, this is Carissa Ulrich of Naperville North.
Naperville is a very dark horse team to come into this competition. Did a very fine job. Did a very nice job for themselves. They ended up in 5th position, and for their first time at a state meet, that's very, very respectable.
Carissa also last night with a 9.40 in the vault.
Bonnie scored that 9.25 on her vault, which was a little down from yesterday. It's hard to say whether the judges are going to be more critical today than they were yesterday. Here goes Carissa. That was a half on, 1 1/2 twist off. Very difficult vault. The only thing that appeared to be least bit lacking on that is that there wasn't a lot of repulsion off of the horse. Repulsion means that once you touch the horse, does your body leave the horse in an upward direction, or does it just continue over the horse? You like to get as much upward movement as possible. But that was a half on, 1.5 off, which is a very, very difficult.
All right, Carissa Ulrich again. This will be her second try.
I believe that she's going to be doing a half on double off, which is almost awesome. She tried half double. Landing was a little low, probably not a complete twist off the horse, which is going to hurt her, but very honest, I've never seen a girl do that vault in the state meet, so that was probably the first time that vault was ever completed to that extent in the state series.
It's a very difficult vault, too. All right, we'll see Hillary Hackendown now from Naperville Central.
And talk about the dark horse. Here was Naperville Central that came in scoring pretty well, but they blew Resurrection and Deerfield, I think, off their socks there right at the very beginning of the preliminaries yesterday, and they ended up in second place, which was a little unexpected. They just had a super preliminary round yesterday, and it was great to see Naperville Central do that well for themselves.
Carissa Ulrich on her vault received a 9.30, which is pretty good.
Yeah, the scores are beginning to come up a little bit here as we get into this competition.
Here's Hillary.
She does a half on, full off. Each vault that the girls attempt have a difficulty rating, anywhere from an 8.8 all the way up to a 10.0. Now, without a doubt, you're not going to reach the state finals doing anything less than a 10.0 vault, and all these vaults are rated 10.0, which means if they did everything perfect, that is the score that they could get. And therefore, they are starting at a 10.0 position, and scores are then deducted from that point.
Hillary Hackendow again. There she goes.
She did tuck Sukahara, stuck the landing real well. Looks like she was a little low in that repulsion. Not a bad vault. Just didn't appear to have a lot of that flair, that real quick, explosive type of movement, and because of that, finished a little low.
Next, we'll be seeing Oksana Perrin from Friend High School in Palatine.
She qualified for the finals by scoring 9.4. And of course, Fremd is, without a doubt, probably pretty psyched for this evening to try to improve upon that state record score that they posted in the preliminaries. And rather than having any sort of letdown, I'm sure she's going to be pretty pumped. Hillary Hackendahl ended up with a 9.2. Coach Larry Petrillo tells the judge what vault that they are to do. If they do any other vault, it is immediately voided. And I believe we're going to see a tuck Sukahara.
Oksana Perrin, here she is. Beautiful.
Very nice vault. Very nice vault. She had real good repulsion off the horse. I think that as we see a few more of these, we'll begin to see those that really lift off the horse and those that just kind of, dive over it. She had real nice repulsion on that. Her landing was a little awkward. Had to take a step or so backwards, which is going to cost her a tenth or two, but that's about it. Other than that, it was a very, very excellent vault. About ready for a second vault here. Judges are ready to go. She has real nice speed in her run. She does a pike Sukahara. Nice landing, took only one step backwards. It's probably only going to cost a tenth or so. I think that's going to be our leading vault up to this point. Claire.
Average score,
9.35. That does put her into the lead at this point. We have Sherry Thal from Palatine coming up. She's the younger sister of Candy Thal. Candy Thal was a excellent performer for Palatine in the all-around event, and she was one of the girls that had a misfortunate accident at the sectional event and was eliminated from competition because of that injury. But her sister Sherry is carrying on the family tradition and qualified here on individual finals.
Yeah, Candy dislocated her ankle on her vault landing, and she's out.
Right.
This is Sherry.
That's a handspring full twist, done very nicely. Very nicely. She has one of the better handspring pulls. A lot of girls do that trick and don't do it very well. She did an excellent vault there and executed real well.
You just tuned in. We're at Palatine High School for the 1985-86 Girls State Gymnastics Finals. Best girls gymnast in the state of Illinois performing tonight.
These girls had to go through 3 weeks of qualifying meets to make it here. Yesterday in the preliminaries, very, very rough competition. And these are the 10 finalists that showed that they were the cream of the crop and were able to withstand the 3 weeks of competition to get here. All right, looks like Candy has decided to take one vault only.
And we're awaiting the
Scores.
9.35. That ties her for first place.
Ties her for first place at this time. She's going to be followed by a teammate of hers, Alma Foote, a senior from Palatine. She's going to be doing 2 Sukaharas, if I'm not mistaken. The first one, of course, will be a tuck Sukahara. If anybody saw Mary Lou Retton, I think that they all realize that speed down the runway is a big part of vaulting. A nice vault there. Got very good distance after she came off of the horse. Very nice distance.
He's coached by Sandy Oldham and
Terry Theobald. Terry's the one helping her at vault right now. Alma has come off a bad injury that she sustained during the summertime, and she has come back, as we can see, dramatically, and really doesn't even affect her at this point. She gets good speed down the runway, gets that horse, piked Sukahara. Looks like she touched her hand just a little bit, came pretty close to it. But either one of those vaults is going to score very well for herself.
all right, the next girl we'll be seeing, Lisa Peterson, who is the winner in the all-around. The all-around results, Lisa Peterson with a cumulative score of 37.50. Jack High School in Palos Hills.
Now Lisa does 2 very, very different vaults. We've seen girls do 2 vaults, such as a tuck and a pike Sukahara. I think we have a 9.45 for Alma. And Lisa's two vaults are quite different. One is a pike sukahara, which is quite difficult. We've seen some of the girls perform. And then she does a second vault, which is entirely different. It's a handspring front somersault, which the coach right now is moving the mat so that they can move it a little bit farther away, because she just about goes into orbit when she does that handspring front. She had a preliminary score of 9.7, which was 0.2 of a point higher than any other qualifier. So this event might be hers if she can hit either one of these two vaults without any mistakes or bobbles in the landing. First one's going to be a pike sukahara. Oops, excuse me, I'm sorry. She did a handspring full twist, which was a change from yesterday. I think she's just getting herself mentally prepared to do this handspring front. That was just a very safe vault that she did for herself in preparation. When they do these two vaults, usually they will do that first one that's a little bit easier for them so that they get their body warmed up and used to the runway and used to that board, and prepared to put everything they have into that second vault. And this one could be the state winning vault if she's able to hit it.
Crowd loved that one.
The crowd loved it. She hit it real well. Without a doubt, I think that the judges are going to have time in their hands trying to find a vault to beat that. That was a great vault.
If the crowd noise is correct, that should be the top score so far this evening.
Right, if the crowd noise, I think Prem would win everything if the crowd had anything to say about it, but that was without a doubt. I think that's the nice thing about the crowd in the gymnastics event, is that if they see something that's super and dynamite, they're going to let that person out there know that.
Here's the replay, Lisa Peterson.
Here she comes on this replay. Drives her heels, push, turns it around. Nice landing. Didn't budge hardly at all.
Lisa with a 9.80 on that vault, and that puts her in first place, and that'll be tough to beat.
That's a new state record, Bert. That's a new state record right there. I don't think anybody's going to touch that tonight, without a doubt. Yeah.
Ann Breach, Naperville Central.
Handspring full. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to follow that vault of Lisa Peterson. Everything else looks a little anticlimactic, even though what she did was truly remarkable there. It was a great vault, nice, half on, full off. And Ann here qualified for the individual finals with a score of 9.4. which is a super score anyway, but in comparison there to Lisa's, it was a little less climactic. Here we go for her second vault. Full on, handspring off. Very difficult and unique vault. Very difficult to do well. She did a pretty good job at it, didn't have much repulsion off the horse. I think that her first vault is going to be the better of the two, and I think we'll see the average of that one, but that was a very neat attempt at a unique vault.
Next, we're going to be seeing Sheila Raleigh from Willowbrook High School in Villa Park as we await the judges scoring for Ann Breach.
Now, Sheila is one of the top all-arounders in the state. She had a little trouble on balance beam like so many of the girls did yesterday. It was just a very difficult event for anybody to work. Sheila actually didn't even qualify as an individual out of sectionals on the balance beam. But she had a little problem yesterday, but she is one of the top all-arounders in the state, and I think we'll see some pretty good vaults here.
Here you see the score for Ann Breach, a 9.20 in her vault. And now we're back to Sheila Raleigh of Willowbrook.
Handspring full twist. Very nice post flight. Really, you're looking for about three things on a vault. You're looking for the pre-flight. That is the time that the gymnast is in the air from the time they hit the board to the time they hit the horse. You're looking for the repulsion off of the horse, and then the post-flight, the execution of the trick itself, how well they keep their legs together or bent depending on the vault that it's called, and their landing. They're also looking for good distance beyond the horse. Not only do they want to turn the trick properly, but they want to travel at least 6 to 8 to 9 feet beyond the horse in distance. And we'll see that Sheila does a real nice job at post-flight. Here, there's a nice pike Tsukahara. Completed the trick very well. A little close to the horse on her post-flight as compared to her first vault, where she was way beyond the horse.
All right, the final gymnast we'll see in the vault will be from Naperville Central, Donna Offinger.
And Donna's a junior from Naperville Central. Very, very capable team that they have out there. She's going to be back for next year's meet.
Dottie Rizzuto, their head coach at Naperville Central. As we await the score of Sheila Raleigh.
Score for Sheila Raleigh,
9.40.
Good score. She probably got that for her handspring pull that she did as a first vault because she had tremendous post flight. I think we're going to see a pike Tsukahara out of Donna for her first vault. Okay, not a bad vault, a little low on the repulsion. Took 2 or 3 steps at the end. She had good speed down the runway, but just didn't push away from the horse well enough to get that little extra height that she needed. Now she's going to be doing a handspring front vault, if I'm not mistaken, for her second vault, which is a very, very difficult one to perform. About 5 years ago, you were seeing a lot of girls trying handspring fronts, but the margin for error is so little on that, and that difficulty so precise that a lot have gone away from it. We saw Lisa Peterson do it, and I think we'll see Donna Offinger do it here. Handspring front, low landing, jump to the side. Very difficult vault to execute. She landed very low on that. I think that probably her first vault would be the one that will be counted.
So Donna Offinger, the last gymnast to compete in the vault, and we'll get to her score and the uneven bars when we come back. You're watching the 1985-86 Girls State Gymnastics Finals on CableNet. All right, Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk back at Palatine High School in Palatine. You get a look at the judges table there as they get set to get things underway for the uneven bars. And the top score, Lisa Peterson in the vault with a 9.80, Jerry, a state record, and really just an outstanding performance.
Well, I think that if you look back at each score, we'll see that really there was nobody in a class with her. It was a tremendous vault for her, and she's undoubtedly the state champion.
All right, again, we'd like to thank ComDisco for sponsoring tonight's gymnastics event here at Palatine High School. They sponsor quite a few events, and really, for those of you viewing this evening, this event would not be possible without the support of ComDisco. So our thanks to them for really a fine job and a lot of concern that they've shown toward high school athletics. And not only does the viewing public appreciate it, but also the high school gymnasts who were involved here this evening.
The judges are now moving over to the uneven parallel bar event, which we're getting ready to get started here in just a second. I believe they will be presenting the awards for the vault before the unevens takes place.
You get a look at our perch here, high atop the rafters at Palatine High School.
Not a bad view, not a bad view, except for the balance beam down there, but that's okay. That's Teresa Wilkins there from from Wheeling. Missy Green standing back behind her to the right of the screen from Libertyville. They're going to be performers, the first two performers on the uneven bars.
You get a look at some of the crowd here this evening. A full house at Palatine High School to watch the 85-86 state finals. And really the best girls gymnasts in the state of Illinois competing here tonight. And they are about to present the awards for the gymnasts. And of course, standing atop the coveted number 1 will be Lisa Peterson.
All right, she has come into this meet not unheralded, but she performs down on the southwest side and maybe doesn't get all the press that she deserves. And she was winning most anything and everything down there, and maybe a lot of people felt that once she came up into the northern and northwestern suburbs that she wasn't going to do as well, but she proved that the scores that she was receiving down there all year were the right and proper ones, and she came in and won the all-around and this first event this evening.
You see the standings up on your screen. Lisa Peterson,
Alma Foote, Sheila Rowe, Sherry Thal, and Oksana Perrin will be the top 5 place finishers this evening. They have a real neat scoreboard here. They keep you a running total as each performance is done.
And we're going to get a look at Lisa Peterson's vault, the vault that gave her a state record 9.80. Here it is, Jerry.
Okay. Notice the good speed she gets in her run. There's no doubt you have to have that. She's going to push off the horse very strongly, turn over 1 1/4 somersault, and there she is. Didn't budge on that landing. It was great. Notice the distance away from the horse. Great distance away from the horse. If anybody deserving of a 9.8, that was. That's Sherry Thal, 5th place finisher from Palatine, score of 9.35.
Oksana Perrin from Friend High School, also in Palatine.
They know each other very well. Both schools being in Palatine High School and Frem. They've done many years of training together.
Really just a happy moment for these gals who train hard and work hard all year long, and probably the high point of their high school gymnastics career. This is what they dream of.
That's right. It's too bad that only 5 girls have the fortunate thing of being on the award stand, but that's the way it has to be.
All right, we're going to get a look at Sherry Thal's vault.
She does a nice handspring full twist. There she gets good speed on her runway. She pushes off, wraps a full twist, nice landing, and good distance away from the horse.
And Lisa Peterson, she'll get a great hand when she steps up there. From Stagg High School in Palos Hills, the all-around champion and the undisputed champion in the vault. And listen to the hand she'll get.
That was a super job she did. To come back from the preliminary 9.7 to better herself with a 9.8 was a great performance tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Everybody has to get their picture taken now. That's Lisa Peterson there.
9.80, the top 5 vaulters in the state of Illinois, and really there are no losers here this evening.
Not really. Not really at all, but it's very difficult to tell that 16, 17, 18-year-old girl, if she's not up in the award stand, that she's a winner. But deep down inside, they're going to know that the experience that they had this evening was truly beneficial for themselves, and they're all winners. There's no doubt about that. They all are gaining a great deal out of this experience. And a lot of them are underclassmen are going to be back next year. Lisa won't be. And Oksana Perrin won't be back, but the other girls will be. We're getting ready for the bars event. We have to watch this first routine. It's another girl who I've had the opportunity to work with for the past 3 years. Teresa Wilkins out of Wheeling High School. She qualified with a 9.35. She's a senior.
From Wheeling, her coach is Linda Betts.
And looks like she's ready to go here.
Jerry, any added pressure to be the first gymnast to perform?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. You don't want to draw the number one spot. Here she does hip up. She does a clear hip to a handstand. Bar beat. Clear hip to hand. Another clear hip to hand. Very nicely done. Rises up to a Christ care over the bar. Bar beat, setting up for a dismount. Cast up. Komen each dismount. Little trouble on the landing. Nice routine.
Little trouble on the landing, but she loved the routine, that's for sure.
She was doing those clear hips to the handstands are probably some of the finest clear hips that you're going to see out of anybody this evening. Very, very strong bars performer. She always has been, and she put everything together real well this year. Been a very strong performer. I think you can see should see a good score out of the judges on that routine.
Missy Green of Libertyville.
Well, this girl is going to do should perform a super routine. She has the highest qualifying score going into the finals. She has a 9.55 qualifying score. We have to remember that all the scores from the preliminaries are really thrown out, and whatever you scored this evening is what you're going to score, is the place that you're going to end up. The preliminaries are not averaged in. But she does giant swings on the high bar that are done super well. Just excellent body form and so forth. Teresa's score ended up at 9.30. Teresa Wilkins, 9.30. This is Missy Green from Libertyville. Free straddle over, skips up to the high bar, casts to a handstand, giant swing, another giant swing. Straddles down, she straddle backs over the low bar. Does a toe on, half turn, catch high, switch glide to the low, double leg jam, setting up for a dismount, a pike Komen each, and she stumbled there. And she looked like she may have twisted her ankle as she landed. Kurt Austin, her coach, is there.
And I think she did injure herself. It appeared maybe for a moment that she was a little discouraged, but she didn't get up after that.
That's right. There have been over the last couple days a certain number of injuries that, you know, almost freak type of things that have been occurring. These girls are very, very well conditioned, and the equipment and the mats that they use are very safe, and it just must have been one of those freak things where the body's just in improper alignment.
All right, we're going to get a look at it again. Missy Green from Libertyville.
She has a super routine going through giant swings at this point. Great job on the high bar. She straddle backs over the low bar. Toe on, half turn to high, drops to low, does a switch glide, double leg jam, setting up for her dismount here. Does her half turn and stumbled there. Can't tell if it's a knee or the ankle. Judges are conferring, obviously, because up to that point it was a very, very excellent routine, and it has to be a discussion on whether or not her routine was completed before the injury occurred, or whether or not they can have to deduct a major deduction for falling. And that's something the judges are coming up with at this point.
Looks like they were looking at her left knee. And she's getting a good hand from the crowd here.
All right. Well, I hope that she's all right. She's an excellent performer from Libertyville. We now have Maureen Romer. Maureen Romer coming up. Maureen has her knee taped there. She injured that 2 years ago and has come back tremendously well from that. She's getting ready to perform. Half turn kip, cast a handstand, toe on, toe off, free hip to handstand, toe on, half turn to high. Kip catch, she does a peach. Nice unique movement. Kipping up to the high bar here. She'll do 2 clear hips. There's one, a second one, and sets up for heck dismount. Nice landing.
Terrific.
Excellent routine by Maureen.
That should put her in first place. Missy Green with a 9.40. We'll wait the scoring from the judges, but definitely appears that that'll put her in first place. Let's see what they give her.
It'll be real hard to beat that 9.4 at this point out of Missy Green. That was an excellent routine, there's no doubt about it. I know she's worked many, many years to overcome a few of those injuries that she has had, and the culmination of that is being able to represent Deerfield in the individual finals.
You got to look at the judges conferring, and they will pass the score down before it's posted.
There are 4 judges here this evening. The average is taken by throwing out the highest score, the lowest score, and averaging the 2 middle scores. If the 2 middle scores are beyond a certain range, they must confer. They have a 9.35. 9.35 out of Maureen Romer. That puts her in second place. That does improve Deerfield's score by 1/10 of a point, which puts them only 5/100th of a point behind Resurrection.
And that'll please head coach Carol Myers, I'm sure.
I'm sure Carol's going crazy right about now. Here's been the favorite of the meet this year, Michelle Hernandez. She qualified with a 9.5 into this. Michelle was the favorite in the all-around, had a couple of mistakes, and ended up third. She goes skip up to high, cast a handstand, does a clear hip to handstand, another clear hip, half turn, straddle cut catch to high. Kips up, you can do a front sole circle, full twisting back somersault, nice landing.
Terrific routine by Michelle Hernandez.
The thing about Michelle is that she doesn't do anything so tremendously difficult. She just does everything well and almost flawless. There are very, very few breaks in there. She had a couple knee breaks on a couple of her clear hips, but that's only a 1/10 of a point here or there. She scored very, very well.
Jerry, it's interesting. Never in the 9-year history, really, of the state finals has the individual all-around winner been a member of the state championship team. And again, that trend will continue. I don't know if it's maybe the hidden pressure that's put on the girl, knowing that she's the favorite. It's one of those things.
I just think it's one of those things. It's just unbelievable to think that the all-arounder has never been on the winning team.
All All right, Michelle with a 9.40, which will tie her with Missy Green for first place in the uneven bars.
That's right. 9.4 is the leading total. Here's Missy Green, Lori Gold from Deerfield. This is Deerfield's last attempt to surpass Resurrection. If she can improve her score by 0.05 of a point or more. Lori Gold is a freshman out of Deerfield. 2 clear hips to a hecht half turn to high, switch glides, kipping up to the high bar. There's a free hip, 1 giant, and a flyaway. Still stumble on her landing. I think that landing is not going to allow her to get that 9.45, which Deerfield needed to move into 3rd place. She had a very fine routine there, a lot of difficulty in it, a lot of difficulty. She had a few leg breaks and arch in her back a little bit too much on a couple of her tricks, so I think that that's going to keep her score down probably in the 9.2, 9.3 range. Next performer is going to be a junior from Schaumburg, Cheryl Kozak. Very fine performer. She has a couple unique movements here, which I don't think you'll see any other girls using. She does a giant swing on the low bar and a half turn, and I think you'll see a kind of a unique movement in this routine. And Lori Gold was a 9.20. Since that was lower than her preliminary total, her preliminary score will count for the team, and therefore Resurrection maintains 3rd position by 0.05 of a point.
All right, Cheryl Kosak of Schaumburg.
Here she switch glides, she casts up, she does a giant swing on that low bar, bends her knees through the bottom, half turn to a Casello up to the high bar. So casts up, does a clear hip, another clear hip, setting up for dismount here. She does a toe-on front somersault dismount. Oh, nice routine. Sat down. That's going to cost her 0.5 of a point. That hurts her bad.
And we'll see Lisa Peterson again from Stagg.
Lisa once again has one very unique movement in her routine. The rest of her routine is very, very clean, well executed, good leg form, straight leg, toes pointed. You see her doing a little work on the bars there.
We're going to get a look at Cheryl Kosak's routine on the uneven bars, and Jerry will have to watch her dismount here.
Yeah, that's the worst part. Here she does a unique movement. She's allowed to bend her knees through the bottom, obviously. Here she comes up to the high bar. Her feet are apart a little bit, which is a deduction. She clear hips. That's not right up to the handstand where she's losing some points. Once again, not to the handstand. She's swinging nicely, doing nice tricks, just not quite the amplitude that is necessary. Just kicked out a little early, and because of that, she sat down. That front somersaulting action on a dismount is a blind landing. You don't spot the floor as much as you do, you spot the wall. And if you kick out just a hair early, it's next to impossible to save yourself from sitting down like Cheryl did. Here, Lisa Peterson's preparing the bars. She likes it to a certain texture and thickness of chalk on there because she works that high bar so much. It's kind of an example that Julie Nye did over the last couple of years. Julie Nye was last year's state champion. She holds the uneven parallel bar record at 9.55. She would, before her routines, always climb up there and do that. I think after a while it just became kind of one of those idiosyncrasies that gymnasts will sometimes develop, and no matter how it's chalked, they have to get up there and do a little extra just to make sure it's proper for them.
All right, Cheryl Kosak receiving a score of 8.90. We go back to Lisa Peterson.
Here she's going to mount with a kip up to the high bar. Toe on half turn, clear hip to handstand. Very nice. Does a flank fall over the top, drop the low, and misses the bar. Quite unexpected. She's able to continue from where she left off. This is a slide kip catch. Straddle up, cast a handstand, bar beat, toe on, front flip, nice landing.
Little mistake, and that'll cost her.
That'll cost her 5/10 for coming off like that. Looked like everything was rolling just fine. She just grabbed for the bar, and it just slipped right out of her hand.
Big thanks to ComDisco for supporting high school gymnastics here in the state of Illinois, particularly tonight on CableNet. As you get a look at
Chris Herbacek.
Chris Herbacek is correct.
Another one of my girls. She was a finalist last year as a freshman. She has once again made the individual finals with a preliminary score of 9.45. She has a very unique movement throughout her routine. She gets into a stalter position. A stalter is a straddle piked position. Does a number of those straddle pike positions around the low bar and the high bar. Very unique routine. And I know she'd awful lot like to be that state champion. She's worked very hard. She's a very intense individual. Very intense. That's Coach Skip Ray there. He's getting ready to move the board out after she uses the board to mount with. He's going to be the head coach next year at Prospect High School. Here's Chris Herbacek. Jumps up, does a stalter circle, a Shapashnikova, switch glide, double leg jam. Casts up on the high bar, stalter, giant swing, straddle back over to the low bar to a stalter circle. Straddle stalter up to the high bar, cast up, lay out, fly away.
Beautiful.
All right, she's real happy with that one.
So with Skip Ray, it'll be interesting to see what the judges give her on this. Jerry, what do you think?
Well, I know what that routine was supposed to be. I think she did it very, very well. It looked like she just had a slight problem with her feet and keeping them together. And a couple movements in there. Hopefully, maybe it happened quick enough that the judges didn't catch all of them.
All right, we're going to get a look at that again. It's interesting, the different opinions that...
Here she goes with a straddle back over to stalter circle. She straddles back. Let's keep an eye on her legs here. Feet came together. Feet were apart a little bit on that flyaway.
They gave her a 9.50. That puts her in first place.
I'll take it.
With only 2 gymnasts left in the uneven bar, so they're going to have to come up with a pretty good score to beat her.
That's right. Amy Redemacher out of Naperville Central. Once again, Naperville Central is showing a tremendous amount of depth on their team this year. Coming here, taking second place as a team, a little unexpected. This is just a fitting climax for a season that they have. And I think we'll probably see a couple of real fine routines here. Here she does a round off onto the board, straddle over the bar. Does a summy up to the high bar. Switch glide. Push straddle over. She missed the bar. It's probably that movement right there was probably the easiest one in her routine at this point. Maybe just a little mental lapse as to what she had to think about there. Getting her composure. She's going to start where she left off. Glide kip up to the high bar. Cast the handstand. Full twisting flyaway. Nice routine, but that fall will cost her 0.5 of a point and take her out of the running.
And that'll leave it up to Bonnie Higgins.
Coach Al Galati there with Bonnie. Once again, Bonnie doesn't have necessarily the hardest routine in the gym when you compare it to some of other movements that may have been performed, but you're going to have to look real hard to find many deductions in her routine. She's quite a stickler on body position and keeping legs and toes pointed throughout her whole routine. And that makes it very difficult on the judge sometimes. An 8.85 for Amy Redemacher. I said we have to remember that by falling off, that cost her 0.5 of a point.
Bonnie Higgins of Rolling Meadows.
She's only a sophomore.
Needs to beat a 9.50.
She kips up, casts, clear hip, Stalter circle, double leg jam, half turn to high bar. She's keeping her legs straight, toes pointed, straddle over the low bar, up to the high, cast up, clear hip, toe on, front. One step at the ending. Very nice, clean routine. Very clean routine. Very well done. That should probably put her in the top 5. There wasn't too much wrong with that, I think, on a couple of her casts before some of her clear hips. I think her feet were apart a little bit, but not too many deductions in that routine.
We're going to get a look at her routine once again.
Okay, here she's mounting the low bar with a straddled glide kip. Cast up the handstand, clear hip up to the hand. She does a back Stalter circle. Double leg jam, half turn to the high bar, kip ups, toe on, half turn over the low bar. Very unique movement, straddle up to the high, front hip circle, cast, clear hip, toe on front, little step at the end there which cost her a 10th, and she ends up with a 9.4. So it looks like our state champion ends up being Chris Herbacek out of Forest View.
And while we have a break here as they get set to present the awards to the top 5 gymnasts on the uneven bars, again, our thanks to Comdisco for sponsoring this event and supporting high school gymnastics on CableNet. We're going to take a break here, and then we'll be back with the medal presentations of the all-around gymnasts. All right, Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk and the rest of our CableNet crew back at Palatine High School. You see the standings for the uneven bars. Chris Herbacek of Forest View is the champion in that event, followed by Michelle Hernandez, Missy Green, who had to leave the gymnasium with an injury. It looked to be her left knee. As you get a look at some of the crowd here, some of the high school gymnasts are going to be presenting the awards for the all-around competition.
Yeah, those are the top 5 finishers in the all-around. Of course, this competition was held yesterday, a result of the preliminary competition, their scores. And of course, like all the coaches like to believe, they consider the all-around gymnast maybe the most valuable for any team because of the use of all four events. This is Cheryl Peterson, Lisa Peterson's younger sister. She's a junior.
Finishing 4th in the all-around with an overall score of 36.85, Sheila Raleigh from Willowbrook. There's Sheila. Michelle Hernandez who a lot of coaches felt was the favorite coming into the all-around competition. Her score was 37.20. She's from Friend.
She was undoubtedly the favorite. There's no doubt about it. She actually lost the meet more than anything else. She missed both of her vaults and fell off beam once, and that was just too much to overcome. She didn't lose it by an awful lot, but those two mistakes hurt her bad.
We're going to get a look at Michelle Hernandez.
That's Bonnie Higgins, the second place. Here's Michelle's parallel bar routine, as we saw just a little while ago. Half turn here, swinging nicely at this point. Straddle cut catch up to the high bar. She does a kip up. Does her front stoop circle to a full twisting back somersault off the high. That was Michelle in third, and Bonnie Higgins from Rolling Meadows is in second place. And there's Lisa Peterson with a score of 37.50. She only had one minor flaw on balance beam yesterday. Other than that, she was a super performer, and yesterday's 9.7 on vault really captured the all-around for her. Lisa Peterson in first, Bonnie Higgins second, Michelle Hernandez third, Sheila Rowley in fourth, and Cheryl Peterson from Stagg in fifth.
You got to look at the top 5 gymnasts in the state of Illinois in all-around competition, and they stand up there and they get about 100 photographs snapped of them to appear in probably every local paper in the state of Illinois, or most of them anyway.
Well, they have to have one more to be taken, it looks like. Good crowd, all getting excited for the next 2 events.
I think the guys at Photomat will be busy the next couple of days.
Without a doubt.
And they'll also present the awards in the uneven bar competition.
There we see the girls.
All right, and while we have a minute here, as they get set to present the awards on the uneven bars, we have a chance here to talk to Betty Axelson, who's the coach at Maine East. And Betty, a big crowd here, and I guess this is really what the girls dream of in their high school career, I guess I could say. As a gymnast, this is the day they've been waiting for, and really a lot of emotion going through a gal's mind on a night like this.
Absolutely. The girls have worked very hard to get here, and the ones who are here have put in many hours of hard work and a lot of bruises and ups and downs, so they can appreciate being here tonight.
For a lot of people that don't follow gymnastics or really aren't that familiar with it, but in a particular routine, how much time will a gal in general spend working on a particular event? Let's say something like the uneven bars. How much time would you as a coach generally spend with a gal?
Uneven bars and vaulting, really, you don't spend as much time as you do on the other 2 events, on floor and balance beam, especially beam. You're going to spend usually at least a third of your practice on the balance beam.
All right. And a lot of these gals have been participating in gymnastics, not only in high school, but they will be coached, in other words, by people such as Jerry of the Northbrook Gymnastics Training Center. And how much improvement really is there between, let's say, a gal who starts out as a freshman and who eventually does want to become one of the better gymnasts in the area? How much improvement can there be in a gal?
An unbelievable world of difference, because the high school gymnast only spends 3 months in the gym. And gymnastics is really an all-year sport, and you must condition and stay in shape all year. You just cannot compete at this level unless you train year-round.
All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the gals that you coached at Maine East this year. If you could tell us a little bit about them and how they fared this year.
Felicia Piant was our best all-around gymnast, and unfortunately at the sectional meet she did not have her best night, and she's one of the top competitors in the state, and she wasn't in this meet tonight, those are the breaks of this sport. You have to take it along with the good times.
All right, we're talking to Betty Axelson, the girls gymnastics coach over at Maine East, as you get a look at the presentations of the medals for the uneven bar competition. Girls being presented there. Here you get a look at Missy Green of Libertyville, who had to leave with an injury.
There was a tie for second and third, which could not be broken. The score was 9.40. The girls are Bonnie Higgins from Rolling Meadows and Michelle Hernandez from Friends.
And if you didn't hear the public address announcer, a tie for second and third between Bonnie Higgins of Rolling Meadows and Michelle Hernandez of Friend High School, which could not be broken. They both had scores of 9.40, and the state champion, the uneven bars, Chris Herbacek, with a score of 9.50. And Betty, really, it's amazing the emotion that that goes through a gal's mind, and it's not really displayed before before an event is performed, but afterward you could see the release of all that energy and all that tension and all the hard work, and it's really a very emotional sport.
And the unfortunate part is there is nothing for sure, and you never know if you're going to hit or miss. You can train and hit perfect routines every day, and then it could just take one slip, and you know, a couple of kids have had that experience tonight, and you always feel bad for them, but that's the nature of the sport.
We're going to get a look at Chris Herbacek's routine on the uneven bars, and Betty, you might want to comment on this as she dismounts her.
She's just coming back from the salter and circle, coming up to her long hang kick, preparing for her dismount now, cast into a layout flyaway. She had a fairly easy dismount in comparison to the rest of the routine, and that was nice to see, a nice clean dismount, no breaks.
Chris with a final score of 9.50 in the uneven bar competition. And we have about 15 minutes here before they resume competition here at Palatine High School in this state gymnastics event. And Betty, I guess a lot of people who follow gymnastics, again, we were talking about the amount of time that gals spend in that, but also there are, I guess, a number of areas in the northwest suburbs, like training centers, where gals can train outside of high school. And I guess really, what percentage would you say, what percentage would you say of their expertise comes from the high school, from being at the high school, as opposed to, let's say, something from a gymnastics training center?
I would say that most of the girls that you see here in the state meet tonight all do train at another gymnastics center somewhere. And it's a very unusual circumstance where you would find a girl in the state finals who does not train year-round at some gymnastics training center. And once in a while you'll find an unusual champion, someone who might be in track or another sport, but this is pretty rare. Most of these girls do gymnastics year-round, and you can see the results as opposed to just a normal high school gymnast who does not have that opportunity and is only in her high school gym 3 months a year.
All right, if you're coaching these gals and the competition is very fierce and they have to achieve a certain score, in this case a winning score might be in the neighborhood of 9.4, 9.50, but what will you tell them? How will you tell them to mentally prepare? Will you tell them to relax? Will you tell them to concentrate as hard as they can? If you're coaching, what's the prime thing that they have to focus on?
Every event is different. In vaulting, the girl can take all her energy and use it in the run. And in balance beam, it's just the opposite. She cannot let that energy be released too quickly or too emotionally. They have to conserve it because every little tiny balance loss could cost them a fall.
All right, we have a break here at Palatine High School in the Girls State Gymnastics Finals, and we'll be back. All right, Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk and the rest of our Cable Nut crew here at Palatine High School. We still have a lot of gymnastics to go here. A reminder that this state meet is brought to you by ComDisco. Again, our thanks to them for sponsoring this event and supporting high school gymnastics and high school sports on Cable Nut. We really appreciate it, and we're thankful that ComDisco is sponsoring this event. Jerry, we have two events left here, the balance beam and the floor exercise. And you were mentioning to me a moment ago, hopefully things will go okay for these gals in these next two events. It's really, it's very difficult to predict how an event is going to turn out.
Balance beam is just unbelievable. They were dropping like flies yesterday in the preliminaries. Dynamite performers, girls that have been around the sport competing for 7 years and so forth, almost at times look like novices. It's just an atmosphere that sometimes develops around an event. Balance beam, it could be dynamite for all we know, and the girls that are performing are tremendously capable girls. But sometimes an attitude begins to develop that frightens everybody. It's such a small working surface, and they're doing difficult movements that they become very hesitant about themselves. And so balance beam, without a doubt, is totally unpredictable. Floor exercise that we'll finish up with is a much safer and more predictable. It's as if everybody is going to hit their routine. It's just who's going to hit it better than the other. Who has that little extra something deep down inside that's going to bring out that state championship performing routine. But balance beam, wow. As far as I'm concerned, you could take balance beam out. It's just so unpredictable, so very difficult to work. We know that yesterday, for example, Missy Green fell off the beam twice. I was talking with her coach, Kurt Austin, after the meet, and he was saying that she was almost 100% on routines during the week. That she was just nailing them one after another. And it's things like that. It's not that they're not able to perform. It's just, that being that just half an inch off, just that little slip of concentration can throw them entirely off.
I would think, too, a lot of it might have to do with the pressure of waiting for the event to come up, and that probably has a lot to do with the way a gal will perform on balance beam. At any rate, we're here at Palatine High School. You're watching the Girls State Gymnastics Finals, and we'll be right back. All right, Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk back at Palatine High School in Palatine as we get set to resume this 1985-86 Girls State Gymnastics Finals. And the event you're going to be watching in just a moment as they place some of the mats correctly. We're going to be watching the girls perform on the balance beam. And Jerry, Sonia Brandon from DeKalb High School is one of the favorites to win this event, and you've had a chance to see her. She is really good.
Right. Sonia has been a participant in the state meet for the last 3 years, and she really comes out of DeKalb High School, which doesn't have the tradition of being a powerhouse by any means. She comes out of the central part of the state, the north central part of the state, with not much press and not much backing and so forth, but she's a very excellent performer, clean, very well polished. She had the highest qualifying score into this finals.
All right, and her score was a 9.25 on the balance beam. She was followed by Ashley Nelson with a 9.20, and then there were 3 or 4 gymnasts with 9.15s. Kristen Benson of Friend High School, Laura Roth of Morton High School in Cicero, Linda Farino from Hillcrest High School, and Alma Foote from Palatine.
Well, there's that mean animal, that balance beam, approximately 4 inches wide, approximately 4 feet off the floor. This is Kristen Benson from Fremd.
Gary, you mentioned to me before, a lot of these gals yesterday just having a lot of problems with the balance beam. Maybe tonight's a different story.
Well, let's hope so. Fremd didn't seem to have that much problem. They have 4 girls here in the finals. Their entire beam team is in the finals. Kristen mounts with a cartwheel. The girls are going to be trying to show elements of dance and tumbling on the balance beam. If you didn't know they were 4 foot off the floor, you should be able to watch it and think that they were actually standing on the floor. There's a back handspring and another back handspring. Always trying to execute with as straight a leg form as possible. Continuous jumps there. One of the requirements on the balance beam is to have back-to-back superior movements. Each movement in gymnastics has a difficulty rating. Either high superior, superior, or medium difficulty. And you must show on balance beam 2 back-to-back superiors. A lot of the girls will do that by doing leaps back-to-back or tumbling movements back-to-back. She's moving very nicely through a routine, showing side position which is necessary, a little single leg work down on the beam, doing a pirouette, preparing for a dismount, round off, full twisting back somersault. She
Nice
stayed on.
routine.
Very happy with that. We're seeing now if she's going to be able to improve her score from the preliminaries, and if so, that will help, once again, Fremd's winning team total go even higher.
Coach Larry Petrillo and Kristen Benson, who just completed the event, very pleased, along with the rest of her teammates, very pleased with her routine right there, and she's going to have to top a 9.15, which she recorded last night, and let's see what the judges give her for that.
Personally, I think it's going to be better than a 9.15. It was a very nice routine. We're looking at Laura Roth, a senior from Cicero, Illinois, goes to Morton High School. She's the only representative from Morton, which has a very strong tradition. How's that? She went 9.20. Improved her score by 0.05 of a point. We're just making a announcement that the score for Fremd is improved by 0.05 of a point as a team because of that last routine. Here's Laura Roth from Morton. Nice step on mount. Split leap. It's a very difficult tumbling pass coming up. 2 back handsprings in a row. 2. Hits them very nicely. A little low on that leap. Very expressive with their arms through this routine. There's her full turn. A full turn is a requirement of this event. They must do it at some time. Side aerial. Maintains her balance very nicely. There's a 1.5 turn and a fall. It'll cost her 0.5. Even though she's fallen, she's working with a great deal of confidence at this point. Round off, full twisting back somersault. Very nice routine. She had 1 fall, but it was an excellent routine.
All right, Laura Roth from Morton.
She's going to be followed by Linda Farino from Country Club Hills and Hillcrest High School. Linda kind of snuck into this all-around. They weren't counting on her. She ended up, if I'm not mistaken, in 6th place. She ended up in 6th place, and she was a very, very consistent and powerful performer yesterday, and with a number of the bigger names missing a routine or so, Linda has moved right into 6th place. Laura Roth's score we see is an 8.80, which would have been a very fine routine if she hadn't fallen that one time, but she did a very nice job for herself. This is Linda Farino, who qualified with a 9.15 out of the preliminaries. Step on mount. Immediately into a switch leg leap. Preparing for a back tumbling sequence. Flip flop, flip flop. Very nice. Straddle jump, pike jump. If those are high enough, the judges will give that a back-to-back superior. Doing some very unusual dance elements. Tour jeté, which is a superior dance element. Side aerial, as she missed. There's her full turn. And a front flip with a full twist dismount. Not a bad routine.
Linda Farino from Hillcrest High School.
Now, must we remember, we talked about that the gymnasts getting to this point had to compete in regional competition, sectional competition, and then state preliminaries yesterday. It is probably realistic to say that all these girls that are in the individual finals here did not miss their routines during the regional, sectional, or state meet preliminaries yesterday. And because of that, you know, the pressure's probably getting a little stiff out there. And being out there in front of a crowd of, 3,000 to 4,000 people, you know, that takes an awful lot of guts. And they're doing a super job out there. We have an 8.8 score there for Linda Farino out of Hillcrest. Very nice job. We now have Sue Schultz out of Hersey High School in Arlington Heights. Very excellent performer. And I mentioned the qualifying procedure because yesterday's preliminaries, actually the highest score on balance beam was a 9.35 from Bonnie Higgins. However, Bonnie had trouble in the sectional, and because of that did not qualify for this event as an individual, and therefore cannot perform in the finals this evening. There goes Sue Schultz. Straddle press to handstand. Stoops through to a V-sit. Tremendous amount of strength and flexibility in that particular movement. She is qualified with a 9.0 in the preliminaries. Split leap, side leap. A round off. A little bit of trouble. She'll probably lose about 0.2 of a point for that. Handstand. Call that a tick-tock to immediate flip-flop. Nice combination, very nice combination. Cat leap full turn. Standing tuck back somersault. And immediate front somersault dismount.
Did a good job of keeping her balance and staying on.
That's right. She didn't fall off at all. She didn't fall off. Had a couple wobbles here or there, but that's probably going to put her in the 9.0 to 9.1 range maybe a 9.2, which is the highest score up to this point by Kristen Benson.
Beth Pearson, a senior from Fremd High School, will be the next gymnast on the balance beam. We're going to get the score in a moment for Sue Schultz.
Like I say, we're going to see 4 performers this evening from Fremd High School on the balance beam. We have a replay coming up. Sue Schultz showing us some dance elements. Shows us a round off. She had a little bit of trouble at that point, but saved herself. She's going to step forward to a split handstand, front walkover position, steps back to immediate back handspring. Very nice combination at that point. Saving herself along here. There's a standing back, immediate punch front dismount.
She received a 9.05 for that.
And here we have Beth Pearson, very excellent performer for Fremd. She mounted with a step-on mount. She's gone through a leap sequence. Here she comes with a front handspring. Go to a pose arabesque position. Little trouble on the first back handspring. Second back handspring. Thing to watch about the girls from Fremd, not only do they have good tricks, but a tremendous amount of poise and elegance. There's a flip-flop to a chest roll down. Whip up to handstand. A little bit of trouble there. Still moving along nicely. Just minor bobbles. Pike jump, straddle jump. I don't know if they'll give that full and a half credit or just a full with an extra half turn. Preparing for dismount. Back handspring. Full twist. A little low, but didn't touch down. And finished strongly.
All right, Beth Pearson.
That's Larry Petrillo there and Diane Kelly, the assistant coach.
Really a terrific job by Larry. A powerful Fremd team, very strong lineup. And his team really has shown why they're the top team in the state.
And they're not losing too many people either. They're all going to be back, almost all of them. Beth Pearson, if I'm not mistaken, is a senior. And Oksana Perun, who is a vaulter, is a senior. And Ashley Nelson, who we'll be seeing just a little while, is also a senior. Those are the only 3 girls leaving their team. People like Michelle Hernandez are coming back. Kristen Benson are coming back. They're going to be strong and powerful next year.
And really a tribute to that program. They successfully defended their championship of last year, so they're the 2-time champion, as we see a 9.05 for Beth Pearson.
Right.
And before that, they were the runner-up for 2 years in a row, so really a good job by Larry Petrillo and his gymnasts.
And the Palatine Park District, which most all those girls come out of. And here's Michelle Hernandez from Fremd. Straddle handstand. Very, very clean. Stoops through. V-sit. Side straddle leap. Moves through that nicely. Pirouette handstand. Full turn. Preparing for flip-flops. Flip-flop, flip-flop. Stands up nicely. Very difficult tumbling pass. That's kind of one of the trademarks that distinguishes a good gymnast from a great gymnast. Can they do multiple tumbling sequences? There she makes her side aerial, which last night she fell off on. Standing tuck back. I think she's about through her difficult movements right now. She's just got to keep her mind about herself. Good switch leg leap. Very nice, elegant dance. Preparing for a dismount. Round off, full.
Beautiful. And look at the reception Michelle Hernandez received by her friend teammates, and this could very well put her in first place.
Oh, without a doubt at this point, that's going to put her in first place. It's going to take a heck of a routine to beat her now. That's for sure. She qualified with a 9.05, and she's very definitely going to, beat that, and that's going to bring their team score up. I think she's probably going to be in the 9.4 to 9.5 range with that routine.
Talking with Betty Axelson, the coach of Maine East, Jerry, before, it's amazing the emotion really involved in gymnastics. You don't really see it before the event because the gymnasts are concentrating so much, but after their routine is done, they really release all the tension.
Oh boy, after that it's like a 50-pound weight. All right, we're going to take a look at that routine again. We have a 9.6 being posted for her. Here she's moving through her routine very nicely. Does a side aerial, which she fell off on in the preliminaries. There's Larry pulling for her. The tuck back, another very delicate part of her routine which she makes. She knows she's home free at this point. She can keep her head about herself. Nice high switch leg leap. And she dismounted nicely. And we have Sarah Johnson now from Naperville North. Step on mount.
She's a senior.
She was a finalist for the Outstanding Senior Gymnast Award that is awarded by AMF and the Women's Gymnastics Coaches Association each year. There were 11 very excellent gymnasts up for that award, and Sarah was one of them. A couple split leaps in a row there. Jump, full and a quarter, very nice movement. Nice dance, very expressive with her arms. Straddle side leap, very nicely done. Side aerial, she makes very nicely. Sarah qualified with a 9.05 into the finals. Here we have a round off. Tuck back dismount. Very clean. Very clean. That's Coach Brad Barrett from Naperville. Very nice routine. Very nice routine. It didn't have near the difficulty that a Michelle Hernandez routine did or some of the other girls, but she had all the elements that were necessary, that met the requirements, that met the combination requirements, and because of that, should still score very well for herself. But I don't think that we're going to get her up near that 9.6 that Michelle scored. Alma Foote, senior, right there, is getting ready. She qualified with a 9.15.
Coached by Sandy Oldham. Sarah Johnson with a score of 9.20, which is not good enough to put her in first place, but it does tie her for second place. But Jerry, we talked about this before. They really, the judges will not give a medal a tie.
No, they don't. They break it primarily with the score of the superior judge. So if two girls are tied, it's the same score, and the superior judge evaluates one higher than the other, then the girl with the higher superior judge's score will receive the higher medal. And here is Alma Foote from Palatine. Nice step on mount. Two high Sassons. Palatine always has nice dance elements. Very nice, expressive, well performed. Full turn, which is a requirement. Side handstand, double stag position. Lowers down nicely. Doing some single leg movements while sitting down. Preparing for a Valdez. She'll push and reach over the top. Well performed, slight knee bends. Preparing for back tumbling sequence. One back handspring. The second one. Straddle jump. And a 1.5 twisting front somersault. Doing really well. That's going to keep her in the ball game, that's for sure.
Alma Foot, there's Sandy Oldham, the coach. Nope. All right, Alma Foot with a nice routine, and we will await the judge's decision as far as what her score is. We're going to see Sonia Brandon from DeKalb. The DeKalb Barbs.
All right. It's good to see representation from some of these other places. It speaks well. Lisa Peterson is making a name for the southwestern suburbs, and now Sonia Brandon out from DeKalb. That's great. So Alma Foot went 9.30, and she improved her score by 1,500, which will improve Palatine's team score by 1,500. But Sonia Brandon, and that puts her into second place. Excellent, way to go. Okay, now Sonia Brandon, the top qualifier for this. Let's see if she can maintain her position. Jumps to straddle L. Very difficult. That's nicely done. V-sit. That's tremendously hard to do. Whip up. You'll see excellent execution out of Sonia. Maybe not some of the most difficult tricks in the whole world, but boy, you can't deduct. Side aerial. Little low on that switch leg leap, but she's moving along. Flip-flop, flip-flop. Very nice. Whenever you see continuous tumbling sequences like that, they are extremely difficult. Preparing for a standing back somersault. Little low, but she saved it. How about another one? There you go. Preparing for a dismount here. Flip-flop, full.
Very good routine. The crowd loved it.
That's great. That's wonderful. That's got to be first or second place. Without a doubt, that's got to be first or second place.
And she has a 9.60 to beat. That's Michelle Hernandez's score.
Michelle had an excellent routine. There's no doubt about it. I'll let the judges be the final determining factor here. I think that it's right up there with there.
And it must be tough for a gymnast to wait and see what the score is.
It'll only take about 20 seconds. It'll only take 20, 30 seconds, but it seems like it'll, seems like it'll probably take 2 minutes. They're coming up pretty quick.
9-7.
What'd I tell you? There you go. All right. Crowd loves it. Have a girl come all the way out of DeKalb. Not much press. She's done a tremendous job. Done a tremendous job all year long. And last one to perform on balance beam is Ashley Nelson. She's a senior. she was the recipient of the Outstanding Senior Gymnast Award voted on by the coaches throughout the state of Illinois this year. Straddle the handstand and front walkover. Preparing for back tumbling sequence. Back handspring. Back handspring. We have a one-arm walkover, followed by a two-arm walkover. Oh. Thought she had that. Qualifying score of 9.20. Improvement on that is very difficult to obtain now that she's fallen one time. Moving along nicely. Been having a very nice routine other than that one flaw. Round off. Full twisting, back somersault dismount. She's a little disappointed in herself. She still has one more routine though. She is a qualifier on floor exercise, so she's going to have another chance to redeem herself, even though she's a senior and this is her last meet.
So Ashley Nelson, the last gal to compete on the balance beam, and Jerry, the routine we saw by Sonia Brandon, I definitely say the biggest crowd reaction of the entire evening with Michelle Hernandez's routine, a close second.
Well, you know, I think that a lot of it, yes, it was an excellent routine. There was no doubt. As we were talking about, she just executes so well and so clean. But I think the crowd was behind her. All those people weren't from DeKalb, that's for sure. And, you know, they appreciate something that is done. And they know that this girl has worked hard and she's come, you know, out of a town that is not noted for strong competition. She has to travel a long ways to get to competition on a weekly basis. And, you know, everybody realizes that, and it's showing their appreciation, and they're kind of taking them under their wing and say, hey, you're welcome here. There's no doubt you did a super job. You're a state champion, and she has a lot to be proud of because of that.
I would guess that would be on the front page of the DeKalb Chronicle.
Let's hope so.
I would hope so, for sure.
That's for sure. I mean, it's tremendous. You know, it does the sport well. Everybody involved in the sport of gymnastics, you know, loves to see that. They want to have, shall we say, the underdog, and I think that's really what she was, even though she did come in as the favorite because of the qualifying scores. You know, you think, well, maybe somebody else is going to knock her off. She's not going to be able to maintain the presence of mind to do it. But boy, she showed everybody that she's just as good and better than all of them, and she did that tonight, that's for sure.
We're going to get set for the presentation of the medals by the judges for the 5 finalists on the balance beam. But before we do that, there's Michelle Hernandez, who had a terrific score of 9.6, but that was only good enough for second place because Sonia Brandon of DeKalb with a score of 9.70.
I'd like to be a coach and be coaching these girls and stuff like that, and realize that if you can coach them on to a 9.6, that's still not good enough to win the state.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough competition. There's absolutely no doubt about that. It's incredible.
You see in the right part of your screen where the girls have lined up to be introduced to the crowd here. There are the standings. Sonia Brandon, Michelle Hernandez, Alma Foote,
Sarah Johnson, and Kristen Benson. Kristen Benson, 5th place.
And we're going to get a look at one of the routines here once again. There's Kristen Benson.
In fourth place, with an average score of 9.25, from Naperville North, Sarah Johnson.
Sarah Johnson from Naperville North. She finished 4th. And Alma Foote will be next. Alma with a final score of 9.30. Michelle Hernandez was second. She'll get a good hand for her routine.
Yeah, she's a crowd pleaser here.
And we're going to go to a replay here. This is Michelle.
That's right. Here she's moving through a pirouette in her handstand. Full turn. You see the elegance and grace in her moving. 2 flip-flops in a row. Very difficult. Larry Petrillo loved that part of the routine. And the state champion, Sonia Brandon from DeKalb. Well, she worked a lot of years for that, I'll tell you that. Boy. I don't know when it'll sink in that she's a state champion, but it will one of these days.
We're going to get a look at Sonia's routine on the balance beam, and all the work and all the hours and all the practice finally pay off as she's crowned the champion on the balance beam in the state of Illinois. Here's the routine, Jerry.
Jump to straddle L. Absolute tremendous body position on that. Great flexibility, tremendous amount of strength. Right there. Moving along nicely. She whips up all the way to the handstand. As we were talking about earlier, great legs. Straight, toes pointed, side aerial. She stands right up out of. Doesn't have to check it at all. That leap was probably the only major flaw in her routine. It wasn't even a major one, it was just a minor one. Preparing for 2 back handsprings in a row without stopping. Steps down, right up. Slight wobble there. Maybe you'll take a 10th there. Moving nicely through her dance elements. Standing back. Here she comes up for another one. Right up out of those. And here's her dismount. Flip-flop, full twisting back somersault. Great routine. There she is. She's happy, no doubt about it.
I think so. Jerry, now we have the floor exercise, which really a crowd-pleasing event, to say the least. And
well, they've had to sit around now for a little bit of time, and now they get to get involved in the action. The music is usually quite expressive, and dance elements of superior quality and connecting parts to have it all flow together nicely. She just did a jump double turn, which is extremely difficult. Front step out, round off flip-flop, full twisting back. Very nice. Dance is just as important as tumbling is here. Great leaps there. Good tertiate split leap. Side aerial flip-flop. Full turns. Round off back handspring, full twisting somersault. Good technique on all those. There's a double turn again. Those are superior moves. Most gymnasts would only be doing full turns. She's doing double turns. 2 flip-flops to a layout step out. Very clean. Finish up. Layout dive roll. Fell out of that just a little bit. Moving along.
Naperville Central, coached by Dottie Rizzuto.
She's only a sophomore, 2 more years, and she started out very, very quickly. Had a little bit of difficulty at the end, but great routine. Great routine. She scored very well for herself there.
Cheryl Kosak of Schaumburg, a junior, who qualified with a Cheryl Kosak of Schaumburg, a junior, who qualified with a score last night of 9.45, will be next. There's Cheryl.
She was a state finalist last year. If I wasn't mistaken, she was 4th on the floor exercise last year.
We're going to get a look at Hillary Heckendahl in action from Naperville Central. We'll see her routine again. There she is.
She's doing full twisting back somersault. Those are dance elements here. Good extension with the legs. Eye contact is high. That was a double turn. Jumps into the corner. Preparing for a round off 2 back handsprings and a layout step out. Moving through her split leap combination. And she finished up her routine very nicely.
9.15 Hillary received on her routine. This is Cheryl.
Now you see she'll start out a little slow, but once she starts to move, she doesn't stop. Nice dance elements, full turn, straddle jump, standing back. Nice combination without taking any pause in between. There's her first tumbling pass. Round off flip-flop, full twist, flip-flop, layout, step up. Handspring mounter. Split leap, side leap. Handspring front, step out, round off, layout. Another split leap. She hasn't stopped yet, has she? Oop, had a little trouble on that turn. It was supposed to be double turn. She fell out of it. Round off, one arm handspring, tuck back. And her finish.
Excellent routine. There's Howard Rubin, her coach. He's real pleased.
Nice job, very nice. She really gets the crowd involved in it. She keeps moving. Once she gets started, she never stops moving. It's an excellent routine. She has great extension, good leaps, good strong tumbling. Does a great job at it.
Missy Green of Libertyville is supposed to be the next participant, but she injured herself on the uneven bars earlier, and I kind of doubt if
No, we won't see her tonight. There's no reason for her to try anything tonight. She just better, get some ice on that knee and wait and see how it feels in the morning.
.9.40 for Cheryl. 9.45, I should say.
Right. Okay, here comes Bonnie Higgins, who qualified for the finals here with a 9.35 average. Bonnie has very expressive dance, more classical and balletic as compared to Cheryl's. First tumbling pass, round off flip-flop, full twist, flip-flop, tuck back. Very nice. Very precise in her movements. Watch this. Handstand, scoop through. Tumbling pass, handspring, front step out, round off, back. Diamondov. Switch leap, straddle leap. Very nice. Final tumbling pass. Flip flop, full twisting back semi. All right, very nice routine.
Bonnie Higgins, Rolling Meadows.
With her coach Al Galati. I've worked with her for a year. I know she missed a part in there, but we're not going to tell anybody what it was. We'll see if the judges can see. It's very slight. She knows inside.
We're going to get a look at her routine once again. You were saying she knows inside what?
Oh yeah, she knows inside that she missed a certain part of that routine, but it's up to the judges to evaluate to see whether or not she could. Look at that. 9.6, all right. Way to go, Bonnie. We pulled one over their heads on that one. There she's moving through her dance elements real well. Nice Diamondov at that point. Nice Diamondov. Did a very nice job, 9.6. Here's Gail Hamilton out of Lake Forest.
Bonnie Higgins now with a score of 9.6 in first place in the floor exercise.
Love it. And here's Gail Hamilton. She was a state finalist last year on balance beam. Here she is as a sophomore on floor. We had the opportunity to work with her for this last year. She should be mounting with a double twisting back somersault. There it is. Slight stumble, but not bad. Excellent move. Is well choreographed floor routine. Front step out, round off flip flop, layout step out. Gail's only a sophomore also. Side aerial, immediate layout step out. Dancing into the corner. Preparing for last tumbling pass. Flip-flop, full twisting somersault. Very nice. And finishes nicely.
Gail Hamilton of Lake Forest.
Coach Robin Strauss there. The Lake Forest team was third as a team last year. The only qualifier they have this year for the state meet was Gail Hamilton. She made the individual finals. She did great for herself. That was super.
The applause you're hearing now is for Michelle Hernandez.
Yeah, she's the favorite here without a doubt. I don't think anybody's probably ever beaten her. Here's their scale.
Defending her title in floor exercise. Last year, Michelle with a 9.7.
Right. It's going to be tough to beat her, I'll tell you that. She's going to have to throw a heck of a routine to beat Bonnie with the 9.6, but she's been going 9.7s all year long, so she'd have a very good chance.
Gail Hamilton with a 9.40. And now here's Michelle Hernandez from Fremd High School in Palatine, a junior.
She's going to be back again. Michelle will have excellent dance elements besides very, very strong tumbling sequences. Rounding here with a double twister. Very nice and clean. Have to watch for the height on that tumbling. There it is, very nice. Moved through that one nicely. Split leaps, her dance has been very well executed up to this point. Expressive performer. Music is suited to her tremendously well. Nice dance right there. Nice full turn, totally under control. She just has to get through this last tumbling pass and she'll be the state champion. Yeah.
Listen to the crowd.
Well, the crowd was waiting for that all year. I mean, everybody's been waiting for this routine all year. I don't think anybody was gonna touch her if she stayed on her feet. And here,
we're gonna get a look at it again. 9.9 for Michelle Hernandez. Listen to the crowd. A standing ovation, a well-earned one for Michelle Hernandez of Fremd.
Let's take a look at that again. You just watch. There's some great dance elements going on. Really, you can't find any place to deduct. Everything is executed to the fullest. See her tumbling passes, legs together, toes pointed. She finishes with great leaps. She knew she had a great routine at that point.
So Michelle Hernandez with an practically unbeatable 9.90.
What do you mean practically? There isn't going to be another person within 5/10 of that. That's unbelievable.
Christy Engel
Yeah,
from Lyons LaGrange.
How'd you like to be her to follow a routine like that? They should have left that for the last routine of the evening.
Yep. Got to shoot for second best right now.
At this point, that's about it. These are all very, very fine performers, and they're going to do very well for themselves. Moving nicely. She has a good opening tumbling sequence. Just doesn't have that amplitude and complete extension in her leaps and everything that as you see out of Michelle. Very difficult position to be put into following a routine of that quality. Handspring front, step out, cartwheel flip-flop, step out. Very excellent combination, executed very well. Jump double turn, high superior movement. Moving nicely into the corner. Good transition there, moves. On a flip-flop full, very difficult last pass. Finish it a little low, moving along. Keep that eye contact up. And finishes nicely, right to the music.
Christy Engel from Lyons LaGrange. Garen Williams, her coach.
That was a real nice routine. One of the people we're not able to see in the finals this evening is Tracy Contour from Lyons. Christy Engel was actually the #2 performer to Tracy Contour, who hurt herself in the preliminaries and is not able to perform in the finals this evening. The Lyons Township is being very adequately represented by Christy Engel this evening. We now have the state all-around champion, Lisa Peterson, from Stagg High School. This is one of her better events. She qualified for the finals with a 9.45.
Going for Christy Engel, 9.35.
The average is 9.35 for Christy Engel.
Next performer, from Stagg High
There's
School,
Lisa Peterson.
Leg extension, nice straight legs, toes pointed at all times. Preparing for a first tumbling pass, which should be a double twister. Double twisting back somersault, round up back handspring, double pull. Good leaps. Yamadoff into a double full turn. Little trouble on those. Preparing for a double turn. Finish that one well. Round off Arabian. Round off Arabian. Split leap. Full in half. Looked a little sloppy on that one. Full turn. Next tumbling pass, round off back handspring, full. Finishing strong.
Very good.
Didn't quite have the pizzazz that was maybe necessary. Coach Bob Barrow from Stagg. Ashley Nelson is going to be the next performer. That's Lisa. I don't think she was absolutely pleased with herself on that one. Ashley Nelson is getting ready to perform. She qualified for the finals with a 9.35. As I said before, she was voted by the high school coaches as the outstanding senior gymnast of the year. A recognition given to her by the Coaches Association and AMF Equipment Company.
Lisa Peterson with a 9.60. Ashley Nelson.
Here comes the first tumbling pass. She starts off right away. Round off back. Round off full. Excuse me, a round off Arabian front to a round off full. Very expressive. Double stag lead. Moving into the corner. Well choreographed. Here comes a round off Arabian. Back with a half. Round off. Pike back. Nice transition movements. Double turn into the corner. Round off back handspring. Layout. Nice stance in this. And finishes strongly. Well, that's her high school career is done. Finished very nicely. Great routine to finish with. There's a team surrounding her.
Very emotional for a senior.
Right.
To your last routine. We're going to get a look at it again. Ashley Nelson from Frem.
She's moving through some of her transition movements, dance elements combined with some tumbling skills. Getting good height, nice extension with the legs. Showing a great deal of confidence. Getting ready to finish. Does a round off, back handspring, layout, back flip. And finished nicely. This is Cheryl Peterson, a junior from Stagg. This is Lisa Peterson's little sister. So she's going to show you a triple twisting back somersault here on her first tumbling pass. First time ever done. She did in the preliminaries yesterday for the first time. See if she can do it. There it was. Triple twister. See what the rest of her routine looks like now. Moved into this corner. Tumbling pass. Round off, Arabian front, round off flip flop, full. Split leaps across the side there. Straddle dive roll. 1.5 turn. Do a double turn in the handstand. Getting set in the corner for a final tumbling pass. Round up flip flop, 2 flip flops to a double full. Finish that very low.
Cheryl Peterson from Stagg High School in Palos Hills. She'll be back next year.
Right, she should be in the running for the all-around championship. She continues to improve her routine. She has all the tricks that are necessary. She has to develop a little bit of rapport with the execution part of it and get a little bit more graceful in the dance area. And she should be a very excellent performer in the all-around in another year, no doubt about it.
So Cheryl Peterson, the final gymnast to perform here this evening, and they will tally up her score.
Score for Cheryl Peterson.
9.60.
This competition will be presenting the product.
We're going to get a look at Cheryl's routine once again. Here it is.
She's moving into the corner here. Looks like this is a triple twisting back somersault. Right, triple twisting. Excellent, excellent move. Some nice dance going across here. Double turn. Keeps it moving. Setting up for another tumbling pass. She does a round off, Arabian front step out, round off flip flop full. Very, very difficult tumbling passes in here. Good split leap there. Hitch kick. Moving along, straddle, dive roll. Jump 1.5 turn. Moving along nicely at this point. Getting herself to a double turn in a handstand. Moving into this corner here. She's actually doing some elements to catch her breath before her last tumbling pass. Here it is, round off, 2 back handsprings and a double twister. Finished it a little low, but I guess because it was a double twister, the judges decided to reward her.
So Cheryl Peterson with a final score of 9.55. And they will present in just a moment the awards for the floor exercise.
You know.
All right, Bert Groner along with Jerry Denk and the rest of our CableNet crew at Palatine High School, where the 1985-86 Illinois High School Association Girls State Gymnastics Finals have concluded. You see the top 10 finishers, really, in floor exercise. Michelle Hernandez with her score of 9.9, without question, will earn her a first place finish as the top floor exercise gal in the state of Illinois.
I don't think you're ever going to see that score broken now. 9.9, that's absolutely unbelievable. There's a 5th place finisher coming up.
There's Ashley Nelson from Friend, who wound up in 5th place in the state.
As I said, she's the outstanding senior gymnast, as voted upon by the State Coaches Association and AMF.
Cheryl Peterson, a junior from Stagg, in 4th place with a 9.55 in the floor exercise.
Very nice routine. She's back next year.
In 3rd place, with an average score of 9.60, from Rolling Meadows High School, Bonnie Higgins.
There's Bonnie Higgins, who finished in 3rd, an excellent score of 9.60.
Right. Excellent. Glad to see that.
You'll see Lisa Peterson, also from Stagg, who finished in 2nd.
From Stagg High School, Lisa Peterson.
And listen to the hand Michelle Hernandez gets
Place is going to go crazy.
For her score of 9.9, the top floor exercise female gymnast in the state of Illinois.
In 1st place, with an average score of 9.9, from Stagg High School, Michelle Hernandez.
Well, there she is. 9.9. And she's going to be back next year. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's going to be awful difficult to live up to that.
There's Michelle. We're going to get a look at her floor exercise routine. Here it is.
Now you find a 1/10 deduction. I'm not going to. Her dance is so tremendous and tumbling so perfect that I'm glad I'm not judging. The judge must have seen a hair out of place or something. I don't know. Look at this tumbling pass of a double twister. There are probably 10 or 15 other double twisters thrown this year, but none of them like that. It does front step out, round up flip flop, full twisting back somersault. Great tumbling put back to back. Dan here. Nice side aerial.
Presenting medallions and trophies will be Mr. Charles Smith, principal of Homewood Faulkner High School.
Backward roll extension, double turn in the handstand.
President of the Illinois High School Association. And Mr. Tom.
Look at this dance. Dance is just tremendous there, that combination. Jump 1.5 turn, geez.
Association as a member of the board of directors.
There she's going to finish up with 2 back handsprings into a full. There it is.
Please meet the bandit of Resurrection High School who finished the 1986 season in 3rd place.
And tremendous finish.
A very happy Michelle Hernandez.
Head coach, Sue Fosco.
Now there's the awards platform right there, and there you see the final totals from the 1985-86 Girls State Gymnastics Champions with a whopping score of 148.95. Naperville Central finishing second.
And Resurrection maintained their 3rd position by 0.05 of a point over Deerfield. They're introducing the girls from Resurrection at this time to receive their awards.
Megan McMahon, senior.
Megan McMahon being introduced. She's a senior.
Tammy Heener was introduced first, and Lori Rafanti before her.
Junior Colleen Bolger from Chicago Resurrection. Susan Fosco, their head coach.
Jenny Rogowski.
Chris Kuby, senior.
Senior Chris Kuby being introduced. Michelle Disselhurst.
Karen Tincher, freshman.
Freshman Karen Tincher.
She was not able to perform actually through the state series because of a case of mono.
Kennedy, junior.
And junior Michelle Kennedy. The girls gymnastics team from Resurrection High School of Chicago.
So head coach Sue Fosco and captain Tammy Heener, Chris Kuby, Megan McMahon, and Lori Rafanti at Resurrection High School, please step forward to receive the 3rd place trophy.
There's the 3rd place trophy award going to Resurrection.
They missed out last year. They were 4th place in the state. Missed out. I know I've worked with 3 of those girls, 4 of them, excuse me, in the off season, and they are tremendously hard workers. Great kids to have at the gym. They worked real hard for this, and they're deserving of everything that they've got here. Great looking team there. I know that their coach wants to be back here again next year. The girls that Megan and Lori there have worked real hard. Megan came back after a couple injuries this year. She's going to go crazy, I know. They're all deserving of everything that they got coming their way now.
At this time, please meet the red team of Naperville Central High School.
Naperville Central finishing second being introduced. Dorothy Rizzuto, their head coach.
These are the members of Naperville Central's team. Head coach, Dottie Rizzuto.
There's Dottie Rizzuto, their head coach.
Assistant coaches, John Lees, Lynn Reynolds.
Get a look at Larry Petrillo, the coach of Friend there. There's Dottie Rizzuto. A possible gymnast on the way there.
Yeah, it looks that way. That's Ann Bresch. Hillary Hackendall.
Donna Oppinger, Jr.
Okay, there's Donna Oppinger. Very good, strong, all-around gymnast for them.
Amy Reckenmacher, Senior.
We have a senior, besides Ann Bresch. Amy Redemacher is a senior.
Julie Boone, Jr.
Okay, Julie Boone will be back next year for them.
Medals being presented by Charles Smith, who's the principal of Homewood Flossmoor High School.
Julie McCann.
Leah Lagios, Jr.
The junior, Leah Lagios.
Kelly Reimer, Jr.
Kelly Reimer.
Debbie Ressler, Jr.
Debbie Ressler.
And Chris Klein, Jr.
And the final member is Chris Klein, a junior. They only have a team of 2 seniors, which means that they're going to be off full difficult to beat next year.
Will Coach Dottie Rizzuto and Captain Amy Rickenbacher of Naperville Central High School please step forward to receive the second place trophy.
Second place trophy being presented by Charles Smith at Homewood Flossmoor High School. There it is. An outstanding job by Naperville Central and Dottie Rizzuto.
It's a great honor. They've come a long way. If I'm not mistaken, it's their first team trip to the state meet, and they end up second place.
They scored 144.15 points.
Yep, 144.15. That's a tremendously a great job by all of those girls.
You got to look at Naperville Central, just a tremendous emotional high for all the girls and their coaches and their families.
They put it together yesterday. There's no doubt about it. They were coming in maybe thinking about maybe 4th if they hit, and they ended up 2nd. I'll tell you that. They put it to everybody yesterday. They hit, and they did a great job, and they deserve that 2nd place finish. They're tough.
State champions, the Friend Vikings, about to be introduced here. Their coach, Larry Petrillo, a great job, and a really just outstanding group of girl gymnasts.
These are the members of the championship team. Head coach, Larry Petrillo.
That's the principal there, Thomas Howard of Frem, giving out the awards. Larry Petrillo. Here's an unsung hero, Diane Kelly. A great choreographer. And those girls on beam and floor look tremendously confident and poised in their execution on their dance elements. Right there to that assistant coach, Mike Backreth. Assistant coach.
Now the gymnast, Michelle Hernandez, Jr.
Michelle Hernandez, only a junior. She'll be back for another year. As Jerry mentioned, how can she top what she's done this year?
I will tell you, that's going to be, you know, I'm glad I'm not in her shoes at this point. It's a long ways to next season. But Michelle is tremendous, a great gymnast. We had Asana Perrin, a senior. This is Beth Pearson, a senior who came back after knee surgery in the off-season. Ashley Nelson, senior.
Kristen Benson, Jr.
Kristen Benson.
That's right. She was a medal winner on balance beam. She's going to be back.
Wendy Fletcher, sophomore.
Wendy Fletcher here. Good gymnast for them on balance beam, floor, and especially vault.
Tammy Soper, senior.
There's a fourth senior of their group is Tammy Soper. They're going to have some big shoes to fill for next year's team, but they're tough. And Amy Gellinger, a great performer. We didn't get to see her this evening on balance beam, which is one of her great events, but that's a great team.
And there it is, the first place trophy award to the state champions of 85, 86, the Frem Vikings.
$148.95. What a team score. What a team score. There they are, getting their pictures taken by about anybody and everybody here.
And we're going to get a look at the standings, the final team standings for this 10th annual Girls Gymnastics 1986 state final. Made Frem, Jerry on top, really just phenomenal performance.
Without a doubt. After that first event, there was nobody that was going to touch them. It was just how high could they go. And they showed that they were the greatest team that's been put on the floor in Illinois state history with girls gymnastics. 148.95, unbelievable point total. Naperville Central, the 144, it was consistent. They've been around the 142 to 144 point mark all year long. They put it all together when the going went tough and maintained a #2 status. Resurrection came back from 4th last year to take that team title by only 0.05 of a point over Deerfield. They were knocking it back and forth to one another. I feel sorry for Carol Myers from Deerfield, who I know very well myself, but Resurrection, their team was deep, strong. They kept it together, and they won that 3rd place trophy. And that was great to see. All 8 teams that were represented here, you know, are super teams. And even though one gets the win, all 8 teams are great teams. There's no doubt about it. They have nothing to be ashamed about.
So a very happy group of Frem Vikings gather around on the floor mat on the gymnasium floor as the crowd exits here, and we really saw an outstanding 10th annual Girls Gymnastics State Final made. Just an outstanding group of gals, and really a great job by the coaches who spent all the time and all the long hours preparing these gals and getting them ready, and it culminates on today, and really just a good job.
Yeah, it was great. You can't say thank you to enough people out there. You know, everybody helps in it. The parents, the coaches, the gymnasts, everybody does a super job. They did a great job this evening. It was the best state meet, without a doubt, in state meet history. And Frem showed themselves to be the very best of the best.
So the Frem Vikings defend their 1985 crown, and for the 2nd year in a row are the Girls State Gymnastics champions here in the state of Illinois. Our thanks to Claire Waypole, our director tonight, and the rest of her crew. Also our thanks to Jerry Denk for his color commentary and analysis this evening, and our thanks to you too, our viewers, for tuning in to another outstanding winter sports event here on CableNet. I'm Bert Groner saying so long from Palatine High School in Palatine.